please. Just sharing the playlist for you. Cool, and we'll get started in just a few minutes. Make sure you can see me. And just in case you don't know, I have a little dog. Oh, come here. So she might be popping in and out of class today. She also might bark a little bit, but that's going to be okay. Okay, go play. Oh, I see Bethany's here. And Melissa. Oh, yeah, you can absolutely save this for tomorrow. And if you take class with me, you know that I also always have multiple drinks. And don't you worry, I have a nice tea here and some water for us too. And I'm going to be using blocks tonight. I have some at home, but if you don't, you can always use pillows, and those will work really well too. And I'll give you options on how to use those blocks or pillows when we get to them. Hi, Heather. I'm excited to see you guys popping in. And the playlist is on Spotify. If you want to go ahead and click the link, don't start it quite yet, but we'll get there. I hope you guys had a really good Easter, or at least a really good Sunday. Oh, hey, KB. And Jamie. Rach is here too. You guys, this is a really good day. I'm excited. Hi, Carly. We'll see who else rolls in here. And you know that I love to start on time, so we'll be in and out. I have to do a little bit of rearranging too, so I've got some studio lighting going on in the house. I think we're all making everything work the best we can. Ah, Rach, I miss you too. I even wore socks for you guys. I hate socks, you know that. Really decided to get dressed up today. Hey, Courtney. I think we're going to have fun today. It looks like we already have a really good crew. And I'm really impressed that I can read this far. I don't even have my good contacts in. We'll get started here in just a minute. I have a feeling we're going to hear LP bark at least once, and that's okay. Just making sure the house is very safe from wind. And again, don't forget, if you do go to Spotify to pull up the playlist, we don't start it right away, and you'll have a little bit of extra time on it. If you want to stay in Shavasana a little bit extra long, I think we can only use that right about now. Is everyone getting cozy? Yeah? Good. Rachel, you're probably navigating some puppies around you too, so I know you feel me on that. All right, it's 7 o'clock, and you know I love to be on time, so let's get started. Go ahead and find a really tall seat. You can find crisscross applesauce. I do my little leg tuck, but as long as you're comfortable, great. If you have blocks under your knees, that can be really cozy, or pillows work really great too. And because we sit like this all day, especially now that a lot of us are home, working on couches, working on laptops, roll your shoulders back and sit up nice and tall. Go ahead and shut down your eyes, and you can bring palms down onto your thighs to feel just a little bit more grounded. You can also flip your palms up to receive just a little bit more energy. And because I know you're really, really interested in what I'm saying, you're probably leaning forward. Go ahead and take a little lean back so your sits bones feel heavy on the earth. Cool. Shut down your eyes. Take a big breath in and let it go. You're going to do that again. Big breath in. Open mouth, exhale, sigh it out. Last one, big inhale. Big exhale. And just start to find your normal pattern of breathing here. Begin to notice how you feel. Your sits bones heavy in the earth. At the top of your head, your crown reaching up towards the sky. And notice the part that your breath plays in that. As you inhale, you tend to grow just a little bit taller. And notice if on your exhale you can stay just the same height rather than collapsing down. And as you begin to draw your focus onto your breath, start to notice where you feel it. Is it in your belly? Do you feel your ribs expand as you take a big breath in? And perhaps you feel your breath the most noticeably on the tip of your nose or the top of your lip. Just start to notice how your breath unfolds for you. And perhaps as you draw your attention to your breath, you even start to develop a little bit of a mantra around it. Breathe in, breathe out. And continue this pattern. And other thoughts might float in, noises from the world around you. And that's okay. You can notice them, you can acknowledge them, and just politely send them on their way and bring you right back to your breath. And come back to your breath. Make that choice. And slowly start to notice your fingertips and your toes. Start to draw your attention back outward. And we'll come back to our breath several times throughout tonight's practice. Let's see how often you can lean on it. See how often you can make that the focal point of your practice today. Gently blink open your eyes. If you are playing music along with me, go ahead and click play on your playlist and find Child's Pose. Take your knees wide on your mat, big toes to touch. I really like a block underneath my chest here and one underneath my forehead. It can be really supportive here. As you reach your fingertips towards the front of your mat, notice if you can pull your shoulder blades down your back. And just start to settle into this space. If you follow me on social media, I've been attempting to grow a garden for several weeks now. And it's not going super well. That's not true. My little lettuces are growing okay. But this evening, as I was outside covering them up in their little blankets, because it's going to be really cold tomorrow, I noticed how much they're thriving. Even though we had some touch and go moments, I did what I could for them. I gave them water, I gave them sunlight, I covered them up when it's getting cold. And oftentimes, that's exactly what we can do. Just the best with what we have. And that's what we'll be doing tonight. Whether you have a mat out, whether you have pillows or blocks, we're just going to make the best of what we have. And it's going to be a really great night to be together. As you settled into your child's pose, again, notice the shape your breath takes here. And see if you can make the same effort as you inhale, fill up completely, stretch out through your spine. As you exhale, soften towards the earth while keeping the length you create. Now, from your child's pose, on your next inhale, leave your knees just as they are, but gently press up to your palms. Lift up through your left hand. And exhale, pull through, find a twisted child's pose with your arm and your your left cheek on the mat. We'll hold here just a few moments. If you were worried that I used this time to learn my rights and my lefts, don't you worry. Still did not. And here's LP. No, we're not doing that one yet. We're going to get to that pose. She's really eager to get started on some more things. And as you exhale here, start to notice if you can get heavier in your shoulder on the earth, a little bit heavier into your cheeks. Looking down. Exhale. On your inhale, gently come up, and you can notice that my little puppy is very in need of attention. And she'll get it in just a minute. Give your wrist a circle out. Big breath in. Exhale, bring your left palm back down to the earth. On this inhale, lift up through your right hand. Breath out, find your twisted child's pose. Go lay down. Keep your left arm, extended as you get heavy into your shoulder. And sometimes you get some distractions. Maybe it's in the form of our thoughts. Maybe it's in the form of an external little being or an event we didn't plan. Well, all we can do is make the best of what we have. We have just about another minute here. Final 3 breaths here. Big breath in, big breath out. Do that 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. On this breath in, lift up through your right arm, give it a roll, and then gently release down onto the earth. On your breath in, come up to hands and knees, tabletop. As you breathe in, drop your belly down for your cow pose. On your exhale, press the earth away, find cow pose. We'll do that a few more times. Inhale, belly down, shoulders back. Exhale, cat, dome out through your spine. Make a big stretch through your shoulder blades. And maybe your body feels good. Add a little wiggles back and forth. Maybe it's a roll of your neck or a dip through your shoulders. And just start to find a little movement that feels really good for you. And slowly keep your palms as they are. Start to walk your toes back to the earth. We'll find Sphinx pose. This is one of my favorites. It feels so good in my lower back. Bring your toes towards the back of your mat. I like my big toes to touch. If that doesn't feel great in your lower back, you can take your toes towards the sides of your mat. And from here, a block can be really cozy underneath your forehead, or perhaps a pillow underneath your chest. And start to work your shoulders back, top of your head up towards the sky. We're not here for a super long time, so make this effort get really cozy. Start to breathe into your lower back. And our tendency here is for our glutes to get really tight and really strong. See instead if you can soften your hips into the earth. LP's looking out the window, so I think we have like a little bit of time before she's back in. One thing I especially like to do in this posture is notice where I can direct my breath. As you inhale, can you create a little bit more space between your collarbone? As you exhale, can you soften your hips into the earth just a little bit more? Yeah, just about 10 more breaths here. And try to see how big and how deep you can make them. Take a big breath in. On your exhale, stack your palms on top of one another. Lay your forehead on your palms. Find crocodile pose. Just a little counter pose for our lower backs. And try to breathe into that space you just created. Right underneath or right on top of the line of your pants. And from here, make a big letter T with your arms and start to roll to your right side. Now leave your right arm extended until you lean onto your right hip. I like to bring my left leg up behind me for a little bit of support and bend my right leg and call this broken wing pose. Now block may feel comfortable underneath your head here or a pillow if you have it. And I like my left hand on the earth for a little bit of support here. And start to play around with what feels good for your body. I'll spend a lot of time today in our shoulders. As I've been working from my home office, I know I've definitely needed a little bit more of that. So I'm going to give you some of that too. And again, our breath here is a really powerful tool. So start to cultivate your inhale and your exhale. See where you can direct those efforts in your body. Again, thoughts may pop in and may pop out, and that's okay. You can acknowledge them and just politely send them on their way. Come back instead to your inhale, to your exhale, the thing you can control. We have just about a minute left here. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, roll back to your belly. And instead of our crocodile, this time we'll make a little Spider-Man. So goal pose, your right arm on the earth, and do the same with your right leg. Start to bring your knee towards your elbow. And you can take your your gaze towards your bent arm or towards the other, whichever feels better in your neck. We're not here for long, just a little counter pose here. Now we're not there quite yet, but I like to give you a little bit of warning on this transition. It sounds a little funky, but I trust, promise it's gonna work. We do this a lot of Sunday mornings. You will leave, not yet, I know you started to do it and that's okay. You will leave your right leg and right arm bent just as they are. For me, it's facing my door and it's gonna stay facing my door as I start to gently roll onto my back. So if you want to start moving now, it's a great time to do it. And you land in a supine twist. And you may want to wiggle your hips just a little bit to get everything cozy. But ideally, you'll work both shoulders onto the earth. And for me, I think a block's going to feel really cozy underneath my knee. And you can play around again with blocks or pillows, anything that will help you feel supported here. And one of the things that I love the most about a supine twist, other than it just wrings everything out, and twists are really good for us, is that one of the best ways to deepen the sensation of your supine twist is to breathe deeper. And that's something that serves as a really good reminder for me, especially in postures that may feel a little bit uncomfortable or that I may need to adjust into, is that my breath holds a lot of power there. You have just about a minute left here. Inhale. On your exhale, roll fully onto your back and find fallen tree pose. So connect your right foot into your left leg. You can even be on your knee because we're not standing up, because we're not weight bearing. We are standing, that knee to foot connection, not ideal. But now it's okay. I think a block or a pillow underneath your leg here can be super cozy for your hip as you start to open up. LP's back, you guys. Again, not here for a super long time, just a little bit of a counter to our twist to open up through your hip. I don't know if you can tell, but my dog's a little bit spoiled. Inhale. As you exhale, extend your right foot to meet your left. Now both will be towards the bottom of your mat. As you take a breath in here, reach your fingertips towards the opposite wall or opposite end of your space. Take a big stretch from fingertips to toes. As you exhale, walk your both hands, both feet to the left side of your mat. We'll find banana asana. So your body is the shape of a banana with both shoulders and both feet, both hips on the earth. We'll take this opportunity to breathe into the right side of your rib cage, your right lung. Again, we're just taking this time to really take big, deep breaths. Stretch out through your upper body, through your shoulders. Counteract a little bit of the seated nature that we take, being home, being a little bit less mobile right now. Or even if you are a little bit more mobile now, perhaps it's a little stressful, and that ability to relax your shoulders, to take big, deep breaths feels really good today. Again, just starting to notice how we can use our breath in our practice. And LP is actually a really good example of what we're doing right here with head and feet over towards the opposite side of our mat. If you'd like a little bit more depth, you can cross your right ankle on top of your left and give your right arm just a little pull with your left. Inhale. Exhale, roll back onto your belly. And as you take a breath in, press yourself up to tabletop. And now that we're here, we'll gently find melting heart pose or puppy pose. We'll start to walk your hands forward and let your chest fall towards the earth. Do try to keep your hips stacked over your knees. Block underneath your chest or underneath your head can be really supportive here as well. Go lay down, please. As you sink into your melting heart or your puppy pose, focus on the ability you have to take big, deep breaths in and out here. Again, with your inhale, fill up through your entire rib cage, lengthen the side of your body. As you exhale, soften down towards the earth. If you'd like a little bit more sensation in your shoulders, you can always place blocks underneath your hands here as well. And just about a minute left here. And from here, take a big breath in. As you exhale, walk yourself back to our crocodile pose with your entire body on the earth and your palms acting like a little pillow. Just a counter posture to our big back bend here. Again, we'll work through the other side here. So take a big letter T with your arms. Inhale. As you exhale, start to roll to your left. We'll find our broken wing pose again. And if this feels like a lot of sensation in your shoulders, you can always move your left hand a little bit closer to your hip at less of a straight line. The more you find this alignment in your shoulders, the more intensely you'll feel that stretch. And again, you can bend your left leg to create a little bit more stability as you bring your right leg behind you. And perhaps in our movement and our shifting from shape to shape, you lost track of your breath. Now is a really good time to come back to it, to notice your inhale, to notice your exhale, to guide your breath into your shoulders, to create a little bit of space through your upper body. A little bit under a minute left here. Inhale. As you exhale, roll back onto your belly and find your Spider-Man on your left side. Again, making a goal pose with your left hand, bringing your knee up towards your hip bone, about level with your hip. I realize that my home studio light's not great, so you probably can't see me very well. Instead, I'll try to use my words really well. We're just working with what we have today. And that was LP again, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and you'll remember this transition. So stay just as you are on your left side with your arm bent, your leg bent, and gently start to roll into your supine twist. So both shoulders and your left hip will be on the, your right hip will be on the earth here. You may need to wiggle your hips just a little bit to stack one on top of the other. Remember, your effort here is to get your shoulders onto the earth rather than your knee to the ground. That's why we have blocks, that's why we have pillows. You can always use props to support your leg. More important for you to use the earth to support your torso, your rib cage, and your shoulders. Yep, she's a really spunky little dog. She's been napping all day until you guys got here. I think she's trying to show off. You're about halfway through here. Again, just start to check into your breath and start to notice how you can use your inhale, how you can use your exhale to create a little bit more depth here. We may not be under the most ideal circumstances, but when we work with what we have, when we control what we can make a little bit better results from what we from the circumstance we find ourselves in. And that's what's really good about our home practice. It's not going to be perfect, but sometimes it's exactly what we need. Inhale. As you exhale, roll fully onto your back and find your fallen tree, this time with your left foot planted into your right ankle, calf, knee only because we're not weight bearing, or inner thigh. Again, a block or a pillow underneath your left knee can be really supportive for your body here and can encourage you to soften just a little bit more into this posture. This is just a little counter pose, so we're not here for long. We have 2 more big deep breaths here. Let's make them count. Breath in, breath out. Again, big inhale. On this exhale, extend your left leg to meet your right. And on this inhale, bring your arms overhead. Take a big stretch, fingertips to toes. As you exhale, walk your hands towards the right side of your mat, your feet as well, so you make the shape of a banana, a little banana asana. Again, this time we'll focus on creating space through your left side body. But as you inhale, imagine you can fill up the entire left side of your rib cage, your whole left lung. As you exhale, let everything soften into the earth. Again, if you'd like a little bit more depth here, you can always pull on your left wrist with your right hand and cross your left ankle over your right. Just a little bit of extra space here. You're about halfway through. How's your breath? Does your left side feel just like a little bit bigger, a little bit more full of air? Breathe in. Let it go. On this inhale, stretch fingertips to toes towards the center of your mat. One more time. As you exhale, soften. Inhale, knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Wrap yourself into a teeny tiny ball. Gratitude for your effort, for your breath, for your mat today. Touch forehead to knees. Get as teeny tiny and tight as you can. One more breath in. On your exhale, find your Shavasana. Take your feet wide. Maybe blocks or pillows under your knees feel really cozy here. Maybe a fish pose feels good. You're prepped for it. You know I would not prep you. Shut down your eyes. We'll take just a few moments here. Slowly start to bring your attention back into your breath. Come here. Start to wiggle your fingertips and your toes. You gradually start to make those motions bigger. Start to circle your ankles, start to circle your wrists. Know that you are always welcome to stay exactly as you are. If you prefer more movement, on a big breath in, reach fingertips to toes, big stretch like you just woke up. On an exhale, roll to your right. As you rest here, feel your ear on your arm. Tuck your knees towards your heart. And let yourself feel supported by your practice, by your mat, by the space you created for yourself tonight. We can't always control the situation we find ourselves in. All we can do is the best in those moments. And our breath is such a big part of that. So I thank you so much for staying and breathing and hanging out with me and my little fluffy pup. You're ready to move on with your evening. Come up to seated as unfussily as possible with as little effort. Come up to a tall seat. Shut down your eyes. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. We'll take a final round of breath together. Exhale, sigh everything out. Big inhale, fill up completely. And without losing the space you create, exhale, press that air out. That was good, yogis. This breath in, bring thumbs to third eye center, space between your eyebrows. As we pause to honor, to acknowledge the student, the light, the teacher, in each and every one of us, we bow forward and say, Namaste. Good job, yogis. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name's Andrea. As always, drink water. Be nice to people. Wash your hands. It's really good for you. I look forward to seeing you again soon, and we'll get better lighting in the home studio, and maybe LP will be a little bit less sassy during Shavasana. But thank you so much. Have a great night. If you have any questions, you can always drop comments below, and I'll check them out. Have a great night.